everybody, and welcome to our discussion on our short film Now. I think we should start off by introducing ourselves, so start off with Harmony.
Hi, my name is Harmony, and I'm the director for our project.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm the producer of our project.
Hi, my name is Paige, and I'm working on the extra media material for our project.
Yo, what up? I'm Hugo. I'm the editor, and I'm also sharing the role of camera operator and director of photography with our teammate who's absent today, Isaac.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to make that we do have two members of our crew that aren't here today, but we will continue on in their spirit. So let's start off. Let's talk about, well, Hugo, we're thinking of doing a big hero shot for our film. Do you want to talk about that and how we're going to go about it?
I think, the main focus when operating the camera during the hero shot is making sure, the subject is in frame and making sure that we're capturing all the emotions that the hero or the subject is expressing, and it's really good.
Just to add on to that, I think there's like a very big importance to our hero shot in this film. So it's like a big breaking point within like the character's mental perspective. And to portray that, I would say it's not probably the best way to film it, but it's the best way we can think of filming it with the resources that we have. So it's like this big running shot. It's going to be running from like outside the uni towards the car park. And because it's such a fast shot and we've got to be fluid, our plan is to pretty much film it from the boot of a car, like a very slow driving car.
Safety number one.
Safety is obviously thought about. It's up there, but we think it would just make such a great behind the scenes moment and like great content to talk about and just like a great experience to like mess around with ideas and shots like that, especially as students where we don't have the opportunity to do some stuff that is super risky.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the behind the scenes, Paige, you're in charge of our behind the scenes.
I am. I'm in charge of all the behind the scenes things, all of our extra media. So I know this week when we do our shoot, we're looking to shoot our poster as well, get that done so that can be posted up. I've planned quite a lot of like behind the scenes, so looking at stuff like director's commentary with Harmony. I want to get her to explain a lot of her creative decisions with certain shots and even the actors that you've chosen and those types of things. We ended up mainly deciding to put our content up on Instagram. So that's things like posts of cast, crew, little reels that go up on Instagram, those 30-second to a minute reels. So there's a lot of content that's going to go up to support our film.
Yeah. Now let's have a talk about our organisation, and we're going to talk about organisation and two of us aren't here. It's fine. So, Harmony, how have we started with our organisation? We have Zoom calls almost every single week discussing our project and what we're doing.
I would say the organisation was very rocky at the start. We all have like jobs at different time periods. So there'll even be days where we're like, okay, we're going to talk over Discord this night. But then it's like Paige finishes work at 9, I finish work at 8:30. So a lot of our creative thinking happens very late into the night. And sometimes when you're a bit tired, we create like ideas and then we look back at them in our next meeting. We're like, that was absolutely dog shit. And I think it's a great way to see the creative process and how much our projects changed, especially within like our scripts. Like we were working on that script for weeks, and every time we came to a meeting, it was, we have this new idea, or is this actually possible? We need to think about the logistics of it.
It was always evolving. I think that was the best part of having those meetings is every week, not just our script writers or you, our director, everyone brought an idea, and it almost always made it into the script or it evolved into something more.
I would say like each week that we worked on the script, the more that I saw my vision coming to life. It's my first time being a director, so sometimes I felt like that I was struggling in perceiving and explaining what I exactly wanted for this film. I think especially because the film for me comes from a very personal idea and experience of mine that we've adapted to suit a certain audience. And so being able to like see the evolution of the script, and I'm loving it, and I'm like, this is exactly what I was visioning it, and I'm glad everyone was picking it up. Our final script and storyboards honestly look amazing, and I'm quite happy with them. And I'm just glad that we had such an open space for collaboration, that everyone was willing to pitch in ideas or critique other people's ideas in such a way that it just created something we're all very proud of.
And none of us really took any of the criticism to heart. It wasn't a personal thing. It was, we all want to make the best possible film, and talking to each other and giving each other feedback on our ideas really helped that. And well, as you were talking about how it's a very personal film to you, do you want to sort of give us a quick run through of the plot?
So when we were in the classroom and we were discussing the nature theme, we were running through a few ideas and we didn't really know how to take that idea, especially because it was nature and sustainability we could possibly write, and we're like, what's something we can kind of do that we'll be interested in? And I just kind of turned to Paige and I was like, oh, when I was a kid, like when everything was super overwhelming for me, I used to go and run to my local park and swing on the swings, and it was the best and calming moments of my life. Like I can remember so many milestones where maybe I wasn't feeling the best, knowing that I had solace in a place that was like 2 minutes up the road that was completely different to my everyday being and my everyday environment. And so I just pitched like, you know what, nature is super calming, it's super good for mental health, and we don't get to appreciate that. We don't get to deal with it as a society, especially with such more developments coming into the community. I know in my local area they're doing a lot of housing developments which are taking away colour and natural spaces. And then when they do put up parks, they pretty much make them really ugly and like full of metal, and there's just no childhood whimsy. So I think if we create a film that says we need to protect these spaces and these are why, it's a stepping forward in direction for not only our future, but for people appreciating those natural spaces.
Absolutely. And I remember in those meetings as well, we wanted to make the point that while we do want to get this message across, we don't really want it to be like smacked on the head, basically. It doesn't want to be seen preachy in a sense, but still get the message across. And so that was hard, to be honest, especially with all those meetings. I think Isaac, Hugo, and Sabrina, another scriptwriter, we were all really just struggling at that point, trying to find a good balance. But we eventually did.
Yeah, well, with the initial meetings, we know we had Hugo pitch this idea of having like a Mother Nature character within our film. But then discussing it more, we wanted this character to be there without us screaming, this is Mother Nature. So with collaboration, we kind of made like this calming presence that maybe helps improve your day. Hugo, do you have any more on the idea of that Mother Nature figure that you initially suggested?
Yeah, it was just kind of like I intended it to be like a subtle hint at like the person reassures the protagonist, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back to the Mother Nature person, and she's not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Sort of to create a bit of whimsy, as we say.
A bit of whimsy
a bit
on
of
set.
whimsy, everyone.
a bit of mystery.
Yes. Well, speaking on that, in that first meeting when Harmony brought up this idea, you mentioned a few different inspirational films that you were trying to take from. Do you want to mention a few of them?
Yeah, so like some films that were inspiration to me were Call Me By Your Name, that stars Timothy Chalamet, just mainly because of the color, the way the color is so, it's kind of like dreamy. Like the whole film is kind of like, has like this really dreamy, slightly grainy aesthetic, like a film aesthetic, which I really liked. And then also another film was Limitless, starring Bradley Cooper. So that was really a big inspiration because of the contrast of color when the main character in that film takes a pill and when he doesn't take a pill, like when he is on medication and when he doesn't take the medication in the film, there's a lot of contrast with the colors. So like, let's say when he doesn't take the pill, the colors are very dull, it's gray. I mean, like gray with a green tint. And then when he does take the pill, it's a lot more, the colors are a lot more vibrant. They pop a lot more, the whites pop a lot more. And it's got that bluish tint. And then another film also was, the final film was Fight Club, starring Bradley Cooper, and I'm not sure the guy who played Hulk in the first Hulk, I'm not sure his name, but yeah, that basically the same thing as well. like at the very start, like when the guy's at his office and stuff, the colors are very dull, and then when he goes to the fight club, the colors shift a little bit. So yeah.
I think color grading is also just really important for the basis of our films because we have chosen not to have any dialogue or very limited dialogue because I think when you're in a mental state, silence speaks a lot louder than words, and we don't want to be shoving this idea down your throat. We want to be visually showing it, and I think just by upping our visuals with a little bit of color grading really helps set the tone for that world. It's just said a lot that when people are struggling, they see the world in a different light. They consume stuff differently, like your senses be altered, so things can be really loud and saturated. And so we want to portray that visually for people to get a better understanding.
Absolutely. And just to again mention, this is our day before shoot. Well, a few days before shoot. So we haven't actually shot anything yet, and we eventually will. We'll be doing that this week. I think that's all. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.